Welcome to Portland, Oregon, a city with its own quirky rhythm surrounded by some of the most jaw-dropping natural landscapes in the Pacific Northwest. We spent time exploring Portland and the region around it, and in this video I'm sharing the 15 very best things to do, from waterfalls and mountains to cozy cafes, delicious food, historic mansions, and epic day trips. This itinerary is perfect whether you are traveling as a family, a couple, or with your dog. Before we dive in, don't forget to follow me on Instagram for even more travel tips and photo inspiration. And stick around, you are about to get a full guide that will make your Portland trip unforgettable. Let's start outside the city with the Columbia River Gorge. We explored it on our way into Portland, but you can easily do this as a half-day trip from downtown. It's only about 30 minutes east by car. The Columbia River Gorge is at the top of this list because it's easy to reach and absolutely unforgettable. The first stop is the Mount Hood Overlook, a chance to see Oregon's most iconic peak framed in the distance. From there, you will hit a series of waterfalls. Latourell Falls is the first one we stopped at. It drops dramatically in a single column framed by bright green moss. But the star of the show is Multnomah Falls. At 620 feet, this is Oregon's tallest waterfall and one of the most visited natural sites in the entire Pacific Northwest. There's a historic lodge at the base where you can grab a coffee, and the iconic Benson Bridge halfway up where you can feel the mist on your face. It's busy, yes, but it's also magical. This is one of those bucket list stops that really delivers. When you are there, do not forget to snap an iconic photo of falls framed between the rocks with a bridge in between. The walk up to the bridge and viewing point is dog-friendly too, and the path is groomed so it's suitable for elderly or families with kids. Next up, we checked out Wahkeena Falls, that is another gorgeous cascade. This one was my favorite of all the waterfalls. It's a controversial opinion, but I just loved all the stunning lush vegetation around it that looked as if it belonged in Rivendell or other fantasy book location. Also, if you follow a little forest trail that is a bit rugged, you can get quite close to the falls themselves, but I recommend it only for people who are comfortable hiking on slippery paths. Then we wrapped up at the Vista house at Crown Point. This 1918 observatory looks like a castle perched above the gorge, and the panoramic view of the river is breathtaking. It's a perfect final stop to take in just how dramatic this landscape is. Now, let's step into the city itself. Portland's downtown and Old Town are the best explored on foot. Start at Pioneer Courthouse Square, often called Portland's living room. From there, just stroll and soak in all the vibes. Downtown Portland is a must. It's not just sightseeing, it's about soaking in the city's energy while enjoying some of the best local spots. What makes this area special is the vibe, a mix of historic charm, modern street art, and a laid-back energy that's uniquely Portland. It doesn't feel like any other American city, it feels like Portland. Also, my advice is not to get discouraged by some closed shop fronts, some homelessness, and a bit unkept places. If you go past these first impressions, you will find really beautiful spots in the Old Town. Walk toward the waterfront to the Old Steel Bridge, which is a really nice photo spot. On the way back to Old Town, you will pass Portland's famous neon Portland, Oregon sign and old brick buildings filled with character. Along the way, take a coffee break at Stumptown Coffee Roasters. This is the place that helped put Portland on the specialty coffee map. The baristas are serious about the craft, and the cafe itself is dog-friendly. Yes, your pup can come inside. When you're ready for dinner, I recommend Look Like Vietnamese Kitchen. The interior is playful and colorful, the patio is lively, and the food is excellent, fresh, flavorful, and comforting. It's a great way to experience Portland's diverse food scene. You can't talk about Portland without talking about donuts. The most iconic is Voodoo Doughnut. They open at 6 a.m. and that's the only time during the day when the queue is not absurdly long. The first thing you notice is the quirky, almost psychedelic decor, neon pink everywhere, strange art on the walls, and a playful atmosphere. It's just so fun. Then there are the donuts themselves. Crazy toppings like Fruit Loops, bacon, and maple, or the famous Voodoo doll donuts filled with jelly. Our favorite ones were the apple fritter, mango filling donut, and a grape one. It's fun, over the top, and very Portland. Even if you don't love sweet, it's worth going once just for the experience. But here is the insider tip. Locals will tell you to also try Peep's Original Donuts. These are tiny donuts made fresh to order, hot, crisp, with pie toppings like cheesecake with strawberries or sea salt caramel. They pair them with their incredible chai lattes. Not just one flavor, but an entire menu of unique chai blends. Honestly, it's one of the best little cafes in Portland and far less touristy than Voodoo. Next, Powell's Books, the world's largest independent bookstore. This place takes up an entire city block with more than 1 million books inside. You could spend hours wandering the different rooms, each color graded by genre. Now, let's slow down. The Portland Japanese Garden is one of the most authentic Japanese gardens outside of Japan itself. Admission is around $25 for adults, and I recommend setting aside at least 2 full hours to explore and make the steep price worth it. The Japanese Garden is on my list because it gives you a moment of calm and cultural beauty right in the middle of the city. What makes this garden special is the variety. 5 distinct styles of Japanese landscaping, from tranquil moss gardens to perfectly raked stone gardens. There are koi ponds, streams, waterfalls, bridges, and winding paths that make you feel transported straight to Kyoto. It's peaceful, meticulously maintained, and incredibly photogenic. Dogs are not allowed inside, so plan to leave your pup at a hotel or with a friend. But if you love Japanese culture, it's a must visit. In fact, it reminded me so much of my time in Japan that if you're interested, you should definitely check out my Japan video playlist linked here. It dives deeper into the real thing. Right next door is the International Rose Test Garden, and the best part is it's completely free. You don't need a ticket, and you can enjoy it even if you only have half an hour. With over 10,000 rose bushes and 600 varieties, it's an explosion of color and fragrance, especially in summer. The garden was established in 1917 as a safe haven for European roses during World War I and has been thriving ever since. Unlike the Japanese garden, this one is dog-friendly, so your pet can stroll with you between rows of roses. Also, did you know that roses are the official symbol of Portland? Portland is known as the City of Roses. Next up, Pittock Mansion, one of Portland's most fascinating historic landmarks. Tickets cost $15.50 for adults, and you will want to budget at least an hour and a half or 2 hours if you plan to explore both the interior and the gardens. The mansion was built in 1914 for Henry Pittock, the publisher of the Oregonian newspaper. Pittock was more than just a wealthy man. He was an innovator and a pioneer who played a huge role in shaping Portland. Inside, you will find 46 rooms filled with an early 20th century elegance. But what's the most impressive are the innovations. The house had central heating, a built-in vacuum system, an elevator, and even intercoms, features that were way ahead of their time in 1914. Touring the mansion is like stepping back into Portland's early days while also seeing how forward-thinking Pittock really was. If you don't want to go inside, you can still enjoy the gardens for free, and these are dog-friendly. The grounds are beautifully landscaped, and the highlight is the view. On a clear day, you can see all of Portland stretched below you, with Mount Hood rising dramatically in the distance. That combination, a story of innovation, architecture filled with character, and some of the best views of the city, makes Pittock Mansion one of my absolute must-sees in Portland. Now, let's talk about neighborhoods that we really loved, starting with Northwest Portland. This area is full of boutique shops, charming streets, and a more upscale, relaxed vibe compared to downtown. We found a lot of cool little shops around the main street. To fully explore this neighborhood, allocate at least 2 hours. For lunch, I recommend Papa Haydn, a local institution. They serve hearty meals. We tried the brisket sandwich, a salad topped with local sweet shrimp, a portobello burger, and the classic cheeseburger. But the real star is dessert. The meringue cake layered with fruit is famous and it's worth saving room for. They also have a dog-friendly patio so you can enjoy it with your pup. Another neighborhood we loved is Boise, which was probably my favorite for food and drinks. Start your morning at Stack Coffee House with a latte or pour-over. They also carry lots of local art, which is pretty cool. Then, treat yourself at Kate's Ice Cream. They are fully plant-based and their flavors are creative and delicious. You wouldn't even notice that they are vegan. For a quick drink stop, check out a local favorite, Stormbreaker Brewing, for craft beers. The IPAs are really delicious and they have some small bites in the menu too. Patio is fully dog-friendly as well. For dinner, dive into something more adventurous at Rangoon Bistro, Portland's Burmese restaurant. This was such a unique food experience. We tried a salad with fermented tea leaves dressing and crispy fava bean, giant pork dumpling in chili oil, masala spiced fried potatoes, a chickpea tofu curry, caramelized mushroom noodles, and spicy fried chicken. Every dish was bursting with flavor and unlike anything else we had in the city. To end the night, head to Uncanny, a cocktail bar with moody vibes, super cool decor, and drinks you won't find anywhere else. Think smoked cocktails, unusual ingredients, and a super atmospheric space. My favorite cocktail was one with a Japanese umeshu. By the way, it's a great spot for a little date night too. Then there's Hawthorne, Portland's hipster heart. It shows off Portland's quirky, independent spirit. This neighborhood is all about the vintage shops, funky boutiques, and a vibrant, youthful energy. You can easily spend half a day here browsing secondhand stores, record shops, and locally owned cafes. It's not just shopping though. Hawthorne feels like a community where creativity is celebrated. Street art pops up on random corners and you will find food carts stacked between buildings. If you want that quintessential Keep Portland weird vibe, this is the place. Now let's dig into our recommended half-day and full-day trips. First, Trillium Lake and Mount Hood. It's about an hour and a half drive from Portland. Trillium Lake has an easy loop trail, about 2 miles, which takes an hour at relaxed pace. It's flat, dog-friendly, and perfect for families. The big draw is the view. The lake perfectly reflects Mount Hood, making it one of the most iconic photo spots in Oregon. Mount Hood itself is legendary. At 11,249 feet, it's Oregon's tallest peak and still an active volcano. This place is a hub for skiing in winter and hiking in summer. The Trillium Lake itself is just beautiful. If you want to explore it even more, bring a kayak, SUP, or a canoe. Next up, the Willamette Valley wine region, about an hour's drive southwest of Portland. Oregon's Pinot Noir is world famous, and this is where it's produced. We visited Domaine, Drouhin, an upscale winery with French roots. Tasting here requires a reservation, even midweek, and the patio overlooks the rolling vineyards with Mount Hood in the distance. It's dog-friendly, so you can sip wine with your pup by your side. The Pinot Noir was outstanding, elegant, balanced, and truly one of the Oregon's signature flavors. Pro tip: if you don't make a reservation for patio, you can still enjoy the wine and the more informal drinking area outdoors with comfy wooden chairs and awesome views. There are so many wineries in the region, and I recommend making time for at least one winery visit. While you are driving in the wine region, don't miss trying the local produce. Oregon strawberries, especially the tiny hood variety, are some of the sweetest you will ever taste, and Oregon hazelnuts are world-class used by chocolatiers everywhere. Another day trip I highly recommend is Cannon Beach in Ecola State Park, about 1.5 to 2 hour drive from Portland. This day trip is a bucket list material. It combines the wild beauty of the Oregon coast with iconic landmarks you will never forget. Cannon Beach is famous for Haystack Rock, that massive sea stack rising from the ocean, and it's one of the most photographed spots on the Oregon coast. At sunset, the light is golden, the tide pools fill with sea creatures, and it's pure magic. Fun fact, it was also a filming location for the movie Twilight. I highly recommend you to time your visit at Haystack Rock for sunset. It's one of these bucket list spots that look even more magical when the silhouette of the rocks is reflected on the water surface and the sky is turning into some insane colors. Nearby Ecola State Park offers dramatic viewpoints over rugged coastline, hiking trails through Sitka spruce forest, and quiet beaches. It feels wild and cinematic, another Twilight filming spot actually. I loved all the rocks and driftwood on the beaches. The landscapes were both dramatic and peaceful. If you're into surfing, it's also a great surfing location. It rained when we visited, but I really loved how lovely the nearby forest looked even in the rain. It was one of the greenest, most mossy and stunning forests I've seen. If you have extra time on the coast, drive another 30 minutes north to see the Shipwreck of Peter Iredale at Fort Stevens State Park. The rusting skeleton of this four-masted shipwreck has been sitting in the sand since 1906, and at low tide you can walk right up to it. It's haunting, atmospheric, and perfect for photography, and yes, it was another filming location for Twilight. That's why I recommend it. It adds a unique, slightly eerie chapter to your Oregon coast adventure. And that's the full list. 15 amazing things to do in and around Portland. From waterfalls and mountains to quirky neighborhoods, delicious food, world-class wine, and dramatic coastlines, this itinerary captures everything that makes Portland and Oregon so special. If you found this guide helpful, please like this video and subscribe. It really helps me create more in-depth travel guides like this one. And remember, for more photos and behind-the-scenes tips, follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you plan your unforgettable Portland adventure.